So, guys, you were at a very early stage of your business when you got featured in Shark Tank, right? आपका Shark Tank पे feature होना, how did it impact your growth and development of Nutt Job in the male intimate hygiene space?
I think for us, coming on Shark Tank was the biggest feat in terms of launching the segment. Why I say that is because before Shark Tank, also before we started, there were very few companies in the space of male intimate hygiene, right? So once we did Shark Tank, what it did was it came on a national. I mean, obviously, it was a national televised show, if I may say so. But what it did was validated the segment that yes, we the needs mutual. A lot of people related to यार हमने इस बारे में क्यों नहीं सोचा. A lot of men said that कि यार why didn't we think of something like this. So I think a lot of people related to the problem even more when they understood, yeah, there's a company that's solving an issue like this. And what became was a very relevant cry for a need of products like this, because जो पहले था was only talcum powder. What happened after Nuutjob was that a lot of now what a lot of lifestyle driven companies are now doing is getting into addressing male intimate hygiene. There are lots of companies. Before we started, there were not a lot of companies. I'd say not even one major one was premised around male intimate hygiene per se. But after Shark Tank, we've seen so many companies now come into the space and address male intimate hygiene so openly. I think that's the power of what Shark Tank India can truly do. It validated a segment like this, validated that two women are running a segment.
Shark Tank season 1 में two sisters made probably the most memorable pitch ever. उन्होंने एंटर किया नेशनल टेलीविजन स्टेज पे ड्रेस्ड एज मेन एंड स्क्रैचिंग देयर बॉल्स. They were building a product in the male intimate hygiene space. What does it mean for two women founders to build in this category? जो शायद इनके पहले एग्जिस्ट ही नहीं करते थे कैटेगरी. क्या क्रेजी चैलेंजेस फेस करे इन्होंने, शार्क टैंक के लिए कैसे अप्लाई करा, एंड हाउ दे गॉट इन, एंड व्हाट डज शार्क टैंक अपीयरेंस डू टू कंपनीज, हाउ टू get first 100 sales for a D2C brand. Today we are talking to Ananya and Anushree, who are the founders of Nutt Job, a company that is defining the male intimate hygiene space and they're building the entire category from ground up. ये शार्क टैंक के सीजन 1 पे आए थे, एंड अगर आपने देखा हो तो इट वाज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट फनीएस्ट एंड द मोस्ट brilliant pitches in the tank. This is an episode you absolutely can't miss. This is one of the craziest and the most unconventional episodes I've ever done. We discuss some of the इतनी क्रेजी जर्नी है, इतना क्रेजी प्रोडक्ट है. We'll also discuss some of the most unconventional strategies to market a product. Make sure to watch till the end and tell me the good and the bad things that I found in the conversation, because I will be reading them all throughout and will bring them up in the next episodes. So, guys, you were at a very early stage of your business when you got featured in Shark Tank, right? आपका Shark Tank पे feature होना, how did it impact your growth and development of Nutt Job in the male intimate hygiene space?
I think for us, coming on Shark Tank was the biggest feat in terms of launching the segment. Why I say that is because before Shark Tank, also before we started, there were very few companies in the space of male intimate hygiene, right? So once we did Shark Tank, what it did was it came on a national. I mean, obviously, it was a national televised show, if I may say so. But what it did was validated the segment that yes, we the needs mutual. A lot of people related to यार हमने इस बारे में क्यों नहीं सोचा. A lot of men said that कि यार why didn't we think of something like this. So I think a lot of people related to the problem even more when they understood, yeah, there's a company that's solving an issue like this. And what became was a very relevant cry for a need of products like this, because जो पहले था was only talcum powder. What happened after Nuutjob was that a lot of now what a lot of lifestyle driven companies are now doing is getting into addressing male intimate hygiene. There are lots of companies. Before we started, there were not a lot of companies. I'd say not even one major one was premised around male intimate hygiene per se. But after Shark Tank, we've seen so many companies now come into the space and address male intimate hygiene so openly. I think that's the power of what Shark Tank India can truly do. It validated a segment like this, validated that two women are running a segment like this.
I want to come to the part where women are in a segment like this. But before that, what do you think कि किसी और ने नहीं सोचा कि this is a space that could exist? Yeah, this is a space that should have been explored.
I think Kia bhi hoga, to I don't like when we did our research, we didn't really see a lot of brands that were openly talking about it, right? Not that I mean, if my father didn't know of it or my friends didn't know of it, they clearly didn't do a good job at making people aware that they're there. So I think मेरे पापा को छोड़ दो, मेरे फ्रेंड्स को नहीं पता था कि ऐसी कंपनीज होती है, मैनस्केपिंग रिलेटेड प्रोडक्ट्स होते हैं. सो क्लियरली इफ देयर वर कंपनीज दे डिडंट डू अ गुड जॉब एट एडवर्टाइजिंग इट, and for us we did a really good job marketing the product going on to Shark Tank. So I think a lot of people got to know that this is a product that they clearly demand for the intimate hygiene. So yeah, I think that's something that's really important that I'd like to mention.
I think when you went on Shark Tank, it was a blast, right?
Oh, it was.
It
It
was
was. We had a
it
really good time.
it was one of the best appearances on the season, and there were two women who walked in dressed as men and presented a product that nobody ever knew that probably it was a need of the hour as well. I want to understand your journey as two women getting started in the space. What were the hurdles and how did you overcome them?
So we started the company during COVID. So that's the time Ananya and I were actually together, because before that she was in a different city and I was here. And we were just having a healthy discussion around the segment only, that why females intimate hygiene is so much, they are marketed, they are being advertised on national television, they have, females have been educated since school. एज इन हम लोगों को पीरियड्स के बारे में स्कूल से सिखाया जाता था, दैट यू हैव टू मेंटेन इंटीमेट हाइजीन बिकॉज यू गो थ्रू सर्टन stages in life and different things. So we were just having a healthy discussion that females में इतना अगर awareness है, इतना education है, तो same males में क्यों नहीं, because even they sweat down there, and even they feel uh, uh, same issues like what I could see like my father or my uncle were facing, because of course even they were using so much of talcum powder. So बाद में हम लोग ने research करा and all that, and we came to know that yes, there's a need, there's a problem here, and same products are available in US market, in Europe market, but nothing is available in India, or if even if it's available in India, people don't know about it. And brands like Peace Safe, Bombay Shaving Company, Man Matters, they only introduced intimate wash, and that was
Mhm.
also PSAFE was majorly they were focused on female sanitary hygiene, and I feel men intimate was just was add on to their basket of products. So and then we researched, we got products from other countries, and we try to develop them here in India. We met couple of manufacturers who can actually make these products for us in India, and actually understand what we wanted to solve. We just didn't want to get a product and उसको बस बना दो जैसे भी बनाना है. We wanted to develop कि इंडियन स्किन पे कैसे रहेगा, बिकॉज यहाँ पे ज़्यादा ह्यूमिडिटी है, यहाँ पे ज़्यादा दे फील हॉट. So we wanted somebody who can really understand and design the product how we want. So we met the right
Mhm.
manufacturer, and then we started. We got products made like जितना हम minimum quantity बना सकते थे. We requested him to, because we just wanted to test the market before we wanted to actually go out. That will actually people use a product like this. So we asked him. We asked our friends of friends to order and try the product and give us the feedback how they feel and all that. And then we were also uh, so then we started working on the packaging and everything के कैसा लगेगा, कैसा होना चाहिए वो. And May 2021 is the time we started selling from our website, as in we asked our friends and friends of friends to order, and we'll see how the shipping thing works, because everything was very new for us. Ananya and I did the listing and everything, as in we got the website made for somebody else, but the shipping, शिपिंग पोर्टल पे ऐड करना, हाउ टू सेल, हाउ टू शिप, कैसे ऑर्डर प्रोसेस करना है, ये सब कुछ आई थिंक हम लोग ने वीडियोस देख देख के सीखा. एंड देन वी स्टार्टेड पैकेजिंग, कैसे पैकेजिंग होना चाहिए. देन वी सॉ के जैसे हम अमेजोन या कहीं से ऑर्डर करते हैं, उनका पैकेजिंग कैसे आता है. एंड सो वी वर सी we were looking and we were learning के ये ऐसा होना चाहिए and all that. So we were putting that same method to our packaging and dispatching, how the order has to go out. And July 21 is the time we applied for Shark Tank India. We just saw that it's coming in India, and online registration tha, and so we applied. And again, then after 10-15 days, again they sent us another link where we had to give all the details of the company, like as in a very brief profile, that who are the directors, who are the partners, who's the manufacturing, what's your selling price, what products do you sell, and you know every detail, as in like if you however you can give. And then again that phase, level 2 we passed. Then we had to shoot a video where we had to pitch about the brand, as in
Mhm.
you're talking about your brand, what Nuutjob actually does. And then we had to go to Bombay for audition. And we so there were Sony team, they hired a VC or something. So
Mhm.
he was asking us, questions around finance, around market, and everything. And that's the time I and Ananya realized that there's a lot we don't know, and there's a lot we need to really understand, because we just started. Ananya and I didn't start. This was a first business, first startup, and I think all those terms were very new for us, like as an equity, CSOP, CAC. ये सब कुछ आई थिंक बहुत हम लोगों के लिए नए टर्म्स थे. एंड वी देन वी रियलाइज दैट we really need to work on this, as in understand the industry in wide, and अंडरस्टैंड एवरी डिटेल, लाइक प्रोडक्ट में क्या जाता है, मतलब इंग्रेडिएंट से सब कुछ लेके, दैट क्या है, कितना जाता है, हाउ इज द पैकेजिंग डन, हाउ इज दिस, व्हाट्स द कॉस्ट ऑफ द बॉक्स, व्हाट्स द कॉस्ट ऑफ द polythene you are sending in, everything, every detail, because it's been added to the cost of the production basically. So I think the journey was very good, and I still believe every day is new for us at work. कुछ ना कुछ नया होता है, and every day maybe you're solving a new problem, or maybe you trying something new at work कि नहीं आज ये नहीं ऐसे करते हैं, या maybe this didn't work last week, let's try this. So making those strategies, and uh, so yeah, I mean it's still, I mean we are processing that, कैसे uh, how to run this like smoothly तो नहीं होगा of course, but
Hmm.
uh, trying and
I think
experimenting.
what I can recall and relate to is when I was starting up for the first time. A senior of mine told me, and this guy was a really successful ex-entrepreneur. He told me कि यार you know your product,
Hmm.
product तुम जान लो अपना.
Hmm.
As founders, that's your job.
Hmm.
बाकी सब कुछ हो जाएगा,
Hmm.
right? बाकी you will figure out on the way,
True.
and that's eventually what happens with every entrepreneur, I believe. But I want to go back a little to your startup, sorry, to your Shark Tank journey. आपने Shark Tank की journey की बात करी अपने, and I want to understand. You had a blast, right? Coming up on stage as, and I want you to talk about it. I don't want to be the person to talk about it. Who came up with the idea? Who came up with the idea for that Shark Tank pitch, and how did that evolve?
My uncle Ananya's father came up with because while we were pitching preparing for the pitch for the shoot, के कैसा होना चाहिए, मतलब हम कैसे जाएंगे और all that, because वहाँ पे they briefed us that you will get 2-3 minutes or 5 minutes to just pitch about yourself or pitch about your brand, like as in sales pitch basically, if you can say so. So we were just rehearsing, we made a script. So we started with 3 products at that time when we went on Shark Tank India. So Ananya and I divided के ये product के बारे में तू बोलेगी, ये product के बारे में मैं बोलूँगी. You will start like this, that introducing that I am Ananya from Ahmedabad, this is my sister, and however. And when we were practicing, my uncle was right there. He said, "मजा नहीं आ रही है, it is sounding कि तुम लोग ने you just coming and speaking, it's looking मतलब बहुत how do I say, um,
Basically, आप emote नहीं कर रहे थे. You're not telling
exactly
them
वो
what the need is. You're
it's
not
not
animating
holding
what
me,
the
it's
idea
not
is. So not
interesting.
emoting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So he said that this sales pitch or this is not holding me. I'm not enjoying it. And then I don't know. He just got up and he said, "You two will go as males, scratching your balls." I like मैं और अनन्या एक दूसरे को देख रहे हैं. अनन्या like what? And he's like, at least try to karo. Let's see how it works. So okay, and he was the one who taught us कितना स्क्रैच करना है, कहाँ पे स्क्रैच करना है, हाउ विल यू वॉक, हाउ विल यू स्क्रैच, हाउ मेल्स एक्चुअली डू. बिकॉज आई थिंक वो उस टाइम पे हम लोग ने शायद देखा भी होगा, लाइक इन पब्लिक, लाइक वी हैव सीन, बट उस टाइम पे अनन्या एंड आई वाज ब्लैंक दैट कैसे करेंगे, बिकॉज आपको खुद से करना है तो यू वोंट बी ओके टू डू इट. एंड ही वाज द वन हु actually convinced us that do this, do this, do this. And we got convinced. We said okay, we'll do this. And then he's like, you will wear jacket, you will wear cap, beard लगाएंगे, बाल सब tie up कर देना, and everything. So I don't know from where he got this thing idea, but he told us that you two have to represent your brand. As in, if you two can relate to the brand, it will be the best thing. So you can reach the audience to mass. That ये दो लड़कियां actually represent कर रहे हैं जो problem ये लोग solve कर रहे हैं. So
I think we should have had him on the show as well. I'll be very frank, that's very rare to find that kind of support from family,
yeah,
especially before Shark
Absolutely.
Tank.
Yeah.
I think Shark Tank, what Shark Tank has done is कि mainstream कर दिया Shark Tank ने startup को. Startup करना it's actually a career choice,
right.
right?
They've
I
actually
think.
made it really cool to start something of your own, to be honest. Like so many kids that now Anushree and I've been going to
Hmm.
colleges and talking to a lot of kids. So many people want to start
Hmm.
up, right? Because like when I and Anushree were in college, it wasn't the same thing. You'd maybe want to score a really good job at an MNC or get like a really well-paying job. But I think a lot of people now aspire to start something of their own. Like listen, I want to do something of my own. So that's a truly change of events that I've seen. Like be it from wherever, whatever stream that you are, commerce भी हुआ, science भी हुआ, arts भी हुआ. Everybody wants to turn to entrepreneurship at the end of the day. It's become so aspirational. So it's a lovely graph that you've seen here in Indians to opt for entrepreneurship. Like no matter what, I want to start something on my own.
I'll add to Ananya's same thing that I went to a event. So I was invited as one of the sharks. So and I just got a call and they just told me that we have an event and we wanted to invite you as one of the sharks and everything. I was like, okay, send me the details, I'll see. So I was in that impression that होंगे कुछ कॉलेज के बच्चे या कॉलेज के ग्रेजुएट बच्चे. And when I went through that event details के क्या है what, the kids who they were kids of the age of 12 to 14 years who were going to pitch me, as in I was the in shark for them. uh, I got a call with that event coordinator. I like, are you serious that मैं 12 से 14 एज वालों को मैं जज करने वाली हूँ? She said yes, you're gonna do that, and they have been working on their startup ideas. And I was now listening to them. I got nervous that इनके पास हर क्वेश्चन का आंसर था. एंड आई कुडंट बिलीव दैट वो लोग 12 से 14 एज के बच्चे हैं. दे वर इन देयर स्कूल, एज इन हाई स्कूल में भी नहीं थे. एंड दे एक्चुअली हैड ऑल द फिगर्स के मैं, आप मेरे को 15 लाख दोगे तो मैं कहाँ इन्वेस्ट करूंगा, कितना करूंगा. दे हैड इक्विटी, दे हैड मार्केट सर्वे, दे हैड हाउ विल आई रीच माई कस्टमर, हाउ विल आई डू दिस. And amazing ideas. They were not or normal that I will start a bakery shop or nothing. One wanted to sell sneakers online. One wanted to start a group therapy kind of a session for people who have some uh, depression or going through depression or something. One wanted to, so I mean, आई वॉज वेरी सरप्राइज दैट. मैंने अभी तक के सिर्फ, जैसे अनन्या ने बोला, हम लोग कॉलेजेस में जाके देख रहे थे कि वो लेवल शायद समझ भी आ रहा था मुझे उस टाइम तक के कि ठीक है, बिकॉज दे हैव ई सेल इन देयर कॉलेजेस, दे हैव entrepreneurship as a subject, so it's easy for them to understand and then work. But these kids, I mean 12 to 14 years, school में तो कुछ नहीं सिखा रहे. This was some event only was happening, and I was very surprised and I was very happy that these kids are doing great and they have so many ideas. Like I could pick one, I wanted to start working on that if I could say so. And then I joined them as a mentor, and I told them that once you finish off with your exams, let's sit, let's meet, and I will help you, I will mentor you however I can. And so yeah, now I'm a mentor for them.
So that's a crazy line. Once you finish with your exams, you can focus on your
Exactly.
startup.
Can you believe I had to say that to them? That finish off your exams and come and meet me. I will help you with this.
Cool. I think startup ecosystem has come a long way. I'll I can probably, listening to you guys, I can recall a lot of stories of my own from long back. But yeah, but I want to come back to your business. I think what happened is that after Shark Tank, था, आपके business में एक बहुत बड़ा boost आया, right? Uh, so how did the two of you handle this sudden shift in demand and visibility? What were some of the changes that you had to bring in your operations?
I think there was a lot of change that came in after Shark Tank. I'll be very crisp. I think we're talking a lot, but we'll be like, as Chris, I know you have a lot of questions to go forward. I'll just tell you, we worked on hiring the right kind of team because it was just Anushree and I before. We hired the right kind of team to come in because we didn't expect the way that also we were one of the first episodes to be aired, right? So we didn't know the kind of effect that it would get to a business like us. Like we'd heard that the food and the other businesses had sold out overnight. But अच्छा चलो खाना तो immediately लोग buy करते. This I'm not very sure. Let's see क्या होता है. And we didn't know how the cut would come out, right? You never know how they make the cut, and if even if it's a good product, it depends on how the cut is made on the um, TV side. Agar ganda cut diya, then nobody would want to buy your product or whatever, right? So we didn't know how it would shape up and everything. It was just Anushree and I, and on the day that it was aired, the moment it aired, we saw the number of orders. Tick 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 tick. And एक तो side में tick 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 हो ही रहा है. Like, oh, you've got an order. There's so many orders that were coming in, so many calls that started coming in, and we didn't have anybody to come help us pack, to help us do anything. So because Anushree and I are, we stay in a joint family, we had every single person come in and help us. एक कोई बिल बनाएगा, एक कोई पैक करेगा, एक कोई कस्टमर से बात करेगा. Every person in the house has come and helped us. My dadaji, dadiji have come and helped us because everybody was at office, right? So somebody had to stay on, help us with food or whatever. Anshumi and Anshumi is Anushree's younger sister. She called 5 of her friends to come and help us pack. So like there were lots of people who were there. Also, what was happening is, I think We were 1 month away from Anushree's wedding. Okay, Anushree got married in Feb. Our episode aired in Jan. So there was a lot of work that had to be done at the house, right, for the wedding. So there was like a lot of, "अच्छा, शादी का भी काम करना है, packing का भी काम करना है." So it was a little crazy. We went a little berserk, but the response till date is amazing because people recognize what Nut Job truly is. They understand when we talk to them, oh, we just say Nut Job, oh, Shark Tank wali Maloo sisters. They understand it. So they completely um, are in sync with what the brand does because of the pitch, because of the name, and obviously, yes, maybe through the Malu sisters that have created it. So it's grown exponentially. We've grown internationally as well. We're now available in USA, UAE, in Mauritius, and a lot of other South Asian countries. So yeah, expanded a lot, grown by just two members to 15 to a 15-member team. So that's amazing. Grown in a lot of different divisions as well. Products from 3 to we've 10 now. So yeah.
I think definitely. I think from the Shark Tank season one, definitely Nut Job is the most memorable because of the presentation that you had. It is definitely one of the most memorable pitches that were there, and definitely one of the most memorable companies also. But yeah, I want to go into the changes that you guys were able to bring in this space, right? क्योंकि उसके पहले तो exist ही नहीं करता था probably. At least I
Right.
was not aware of, and a lot of people I know were not aware of, right? So how has the perception changed? How I believe a lot of other companies have also started coming in now.
Yeah.
How has all that changed now?
So, you know what? The problem was always there. What was not there was a solution, and what people were using over a period of time were medical related products like, say, an Guard or a BTEX. Correct? Nothing wrong in using them. So our product is a little different from what an Guard or a BTEX is because this is an everyday product. You don't need to get a fungal infection or a yeast infection or any sort of problem down there to be using our products. It is something like a Colgate, right? जो आप रोज brush करते हो so that you don't get a cavity. Correct. So it's in the same aspect of things. So it fights your daily problems that could be causing certain major issues for your health. So the problem was always there. However, I honestly like always wonder कि किसी ने क्यों नहीं सोचा यार ये तो काफी एविडेंट प्रॉब्लम है. आपको मैं पूछ लूंगी, आपके लिसनर्स को मैं पूछ लूंगी कि आपने मिनिमम आपके लाइफ में 10 लोगों को तो बाहर इन पब्लिक स्क्रैचिंग देयर
Hmm.
बॉल्स करते हुए देखा ही होगा, राइट? लोग हंसते एवरी टाइम वी से दिस, पीपल लाफ. Why they laugh is because it's such a relatable and massy problem, right? But why was it not addressed? Because लोगों को लगा हाँ चलो सबको ही होता है तो ठीक है जाने दो. Nobody really paid that drastic an attention to it कि यानी ओ हो क्या कर रहे हो पब्लिक में, right? But there was always a problem. So yeah, I think we did that, and now we've seen so many other people come and talk about intimate hygiene so openly, right? We've seen creators create a lot of content on it. See, again, it's an uphill journey for us right now because it'll take time. It can't be an overnight thing कि चलो Shark Tank में kaya cool लगा whatever हो गया. But to convince a regular buyer is going to take time. The same way that it took time for any sanitary pad related products or anything period related to become really cool. Like it took a अक्षय कुमार मूवी टू मेक इट रियली कूल फॉर मेन टू से कि हाँ मैं मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड या वाइफ के लिए पैड्स लेके आता हूँ, राइट? सो इट्स गोइंग टू टेक टाइम, बट we've started on a very cool note. We've started on a very ballsy and like, listen, we're here to disrupt the market kind of space. So yes, that's the lead that we want to take as a company. um, I think seeing that there's so much growth for the segment, there are lots of companies that have now come in. I'd like to mention there are lots of big celebrities that have ventured into this. Akshay Kumar being one of the latest. He's tied up with Good Glam and he's working on a male personal grooming space premised company. So it speaks a lot that this is a segment that demanded a lot of attention. However, it was pushed across the bush and nobody really paid attention to it. So yeah, I mean, we're here now, and you're to be ballsy and change the game.
I think I remember one of the instances from my college days. हम क्या करते थे, हम रोड पे जाते थे, एंड इट्स अ वेरी फनी स्टोरी. हम रोड पे चलते थे तो वी हैड अ नंबर SPM that we would mark every now and then, which was scratchers per minute. so so you try to say कि per minute हम कितने लोग spot करते हैं scratching their balls. So
I
uh,
am going to I'm going to start this game. Thank you so much, Ritesh. I am taking the trademark for this game now, and we're gonna do something for Nutt Job on social media. We will tag you that this is where it originated. So the SPM is coming to Nutt Job now.
so but I think I want to what I want to come back to is कि आपने बताया कि ये exist नहीं करता था, ये problem exist करती थी, लोग बात नहीं करते थे, लोग
Correct.
recognize नहीं करते थे, which is still a problem, right? अभी भी it's not cool, अभी भी there is a problem, not a lot of people want to talk about it, right? How have you been able to overcome the challenges of men and also talking to men around this product and around male intimate hygiene?
So we're a communication first company. We believe in talking to our customers. Anushree and I till date talk to our customers and understand where the problem lies and what are the kind of products that they need. Because clearly we don't have the part, we don't know what the problem is. It's only through the communication that we have with men that we understand ki what is it that they truly need. See, however, a lot of times what happens is men do not want to talk to women about a problem like this. So we've got a really cool customer care executive who generally just talks to them. Acha aapne ye order kiya, what would you generally want as another option? What are what are certain problems that you'd want addressed to? So that those are things that we work around. A lot of times what happens is that we relate education to fun, right? We make a meme out of it, we make you laugh about it. The idea is that you're getting educated while being entertained, so there's an edutainment purpose when we're talking to our audience as well, so that you share it with people. However, but there are two sides of it. Why I'm telling you is that कि कई बार लोगों को लगता है कि they can make fun of the person who's scratching it. The idea is not to make fun of the person who's scratching it. The idea is to embrace manhood, if I may say so, but through Nutt Job, rather than making fun ki yaar ye to tu kya kar raha hai, and all of that. The idea is this is something that happens to everybody. There's no need to make fun of it, but to address it in a way that, listen, I use Nutt Job and I'm protected. So that's the idea of how we're building the company's communication. So it's a very communication driven and making you feel as a part of a community. Always when Anushree and I talk to our customers, we always try to make sure that we're making them feel safe in a space so that they can come and tell us about things. So the idea is to build a community going forward. Yes, we'll make you laugh, but yes, we'll also make you understand on why intimate hygiene is important. That's what our social media is also premised around. कि आपको बताएंगे क्या है, but in a fun way that you really like it. A major inspiration that we've drawn from is Durex as a brand. They'll make you laugh, but also make you aware that safe sex is important.
So I want to talk a little bit more about communication and I want to talk from a marketing perspective कि आपके लिए marketing strategies में communication के लिए क्या tactics हैं जो आपके लिए they have been effective in the promoting and establishing Nut Job's brand in the space.
I'll tell you one very important incident that happened to me. I'm sorry, I'm taking up the talking space. Anushri can take the next question.
No, but this is what you do.
So,
Like you handle the marketing,
right.
communication. So yeah.
So, what we do here at, like I told you, communication is very important for us. So, as a marketing strategy, I remember when we started last year, Anushri and I had seen like I can't even tell you the number of hundreds of DMs that people are that please intimate hair removal के लिए कुछ करो, hair removal में wax नहीं करना है, shave करने में cuts हो रहे हैं, ये हो रहा है, कुछ तो launch करो, Nut Job, do something, help us out. So we decided that we want to launch a hair removal related product, manscaping related product करना. We don't want to get into the gadget space of this because वो expensive हो जाएगा. We don't want to get into a tech space right now as a company. So we launched a product. The day that we launched, one day before, Anushree and I sat down and individually DM'd every single person who told us about hair removal spray. Why don't you launch a product like this? We DM them that, listen, we heard you, we've got a product just for you. Just because you said we've got the product for you. What makes them think that, listen, this brand is listening to me? I could have been one of the 100 DMs that the company might have got, but they've listened to me, they've replied to me. Correct? So I think that made them feel a part ki yaar, we feel in an age where a lot of brands are telling you कि आपको ये करना चाहिए, फलाना ढिमकाना ये करो. I and Anushree believe that you should be a brand that listens to people. there are lots of people who demand to be heard. I think a lot of people want to talk all the time. Hearing is a very difficult aspect of things, so we want to be a brand that listens. So that's what we build our marketing strategies on. That come and tell us about what you want, we'll listen to you. So a major part of that is communication that we're building on, and listening to what people have to say. So it's a we believe in the idea of personalizing personal hygiene. Whatever you tell us, we'll help you out with it. So that is what one of our marketing strategies is. I've already told you how we're interlacing humor with education. That's a very important aspect, and I feel the idea of making content through influencers. I feel we're in an influencer age right now, so the more that people talk about it, the more that people would want to aspire for a product like this. However, we are a company that is not strictly made for men who identify as men. It's for anybody who's biologically male. You could be a part of the LGBTQ community. You could be whoever it is that you identify. But if you're biologically male, this is a product for you. So that's what we, work around. So that's the idea of inclusiveness. Exclusively inclusive is what we believe in. And yeah, I think that's what the marketing strategy for Nutt Job is. We don't want to spend a lot in, you know, a lot of ads, because now if you look at, if you do read a lot of these articles, Facebook, Google are fine, but the idea of making it a product for everybody, how you make it an inclusive product for everybody, and what's the brand story that you're trying to tell, is something that'll be a bigger part of the game for your marketing strategy, and that's what we do.
I think influencer campaigns have become a go-to in the D2C space and also in general in the startup ecosystem. I want you to,
Right.
maybe if you can give us an example of quick, because you also talked a lot about humor going into a lot of your campaigns. Can you talk about one of your campaigns?
So I think we're continuously doing campaigns on a general. I'll tell you, we're not running behind the very popular influencers. The idea is that I can approach you, Pritesh, as an everyday person to use the product and give us a review about it. Correct, and that is something that I could use. And a real person who's not an influencer, maybe, because sometimes उन लोग को लगता है कि an influencer is using 10 100 different products every day, उसका तो job है दूसरे products करना. Our idea as a campaign that we're trying to do through influencers is to have anybody and everybody, irrespective of how you look, how many followers that you have, to create genuine fun content that is shareable and is relatable. So that's the influencer campaign that we're working on as a company. We don't want it to be a massy approach. We want it to be an approach that you feel included, ki ha, this is something that I resonate with the brand's messaging. So anybody, everybody, irrespective of if you've got a dad bod or you've got a hot bod, we want it to be a part of Nuutjob.
Awesome. And what roles, how do you like distribute roles between you and Ananya Anushree? Like what kind of roles guys take up?
So Ananya is looking in marketing. She's looking for PR. She's looking as in whole communication part. She's coordinating with the team how the campaign, how the social media, and influencer everything. I look on the part of finance and daily operations. So this is how we have divided that. She has her own way of working around these departments. I have my own way of working in these departments, but at the end of the day, our goal has to be the same, is same, and we have to be on the same page, like, and I think we keep on sharing, like, you know what has happened, like, as in if she's doing a campaign or if she's doing a influencer campaign or whatever, because ultimately she has to come to me for the budget. So I have the one, the who passes the 3K, cholo, I'll give you 50K or 1 lakh for spending. So but I this is how it works. It has to be worked parallelly, and but I think we both uh, are updated and know what's happening in their own, like, each other's department as well. That
It's great that you come from a joint family, so I think communication has been there right from childhood, I believe. And I think I noticed that this is crazy that you were able to distribute work at such an early stage itself. Because what happens is that most people, when they start off for the first time, including myself, every founder tends to do everything, which is a massive blunder, which takes people some time to realize. But I want to understand some of your I want to talk about some of your challenges, right? Can you recall a time when you faced a major setback or a major challenge, and how did you overcome it, and what did you learn from your experiences?
So when we actually started the brand, we were talking to, like, of course, family में तो बात कर रहे थे, but then when you go out also, you are talking to people that, hey, I started a brand like this, or I want to start a brand like this. So we had people who come and told us that you're wasting your time, you're wasting your money, that ये this category won't work. Like, why do you think people need males need such a product? Because अभी तक के it was working, over these years, चल ही रहा था ना, that was their attitude, and they were continuously putting this thing in our heads that we, we, uh, uh, we are not starting something right, or maybe ये idea ही बेकार है. So we had this continuously they were trying to put, but then ultimately at the end of the day, Ananya and I thought that try to कर सकते हैं, let's just go out, let's just try the market. uh, of course, starting a new segment, starting a new brand, you need to put lots of efforts and money. So initially when we started, Ananya and I bootstrapped this. We added our money to get the products manufactured, and that is why we asked the manufacturer के कम से कम quantity बना के दो, because what if this doesn't work, what will be.
What is that come se come quantity? What is that minimum MOQ that you
तो
were able
आई
to
थिंक हम
get
लोग
to?
ने 500 बनवाए थे फॉर हर एक प्रोडक्ट के. सो टोटल इन
Mhm.
टोटल वी गॉट 1500 प्रोडक्ट्स ओनली. 500 for this. So as I said, we were just having 3 products that time, so we were sitting with 1500 products ka stock. And so that we thought that we'll list this on Amazon also, on Flipkart also, on website also. So everything we planned that way, that initially we'll start from our website, because we wanted to test the delivery channel we were using, the payment gateway we were using, and then we thought that thoda traction, thoda sales agar website se aate hain, then we will go to Amazon. So meanwhile, because Amazon mein you have to be very particular about the product, about the packaging, how you are sending. So we started with sending through our uh, own website. And challenges AI, and then of course you get a website made. You about us mein we added our photos, like saying like Ananya and Anushree started a brand like this, and they whatever. So somebody called, some relative called and told our parents that get these photos down, as in it doesn't look good that ये दो लड़कियां की फोटो वेबसाइट पे है and they have started a brand. Had it been अगर ये फीमेल कॉस्मेटिक को लेके कुछ अगर ब्रांड होता, या आई थिंक बॉडी केयर को लेके अगर ब्रांड होता, तो किसी को प्रॉब्लम नहीं होती. दैट ठीक है ना, शैम्पू कर रहे हैं, बॉडी वॉश बेच रहे हैं, या कोई कॉस्मेटिक्स में है, बट because we were in a segment like this, they had a problem saying that. And Ananya and I were at a marriageable age that time, like of course. And दो मारवाड़ी फैमिली लड़कियां, दो मारवाड़ी फैमिली में से वो आ रहे हैं. सो एक वो बहुत थोड़ा नैरो थिंकिंग सबका हो जाता है, दैट तुम लाइक आप तुम्हारे बायोडेटा में क्या जाएगा, लाइक यू हैव स्टार्टेड, एंड व्हेन यू मीट द बॉय, व्हाट विल यू से, दैट व्हाट आर यू डूइंग. So of course, those were the challenges. And overall we like इनसाइड आपके खुद के घर में तो नहीं बोल सकते, बट सराउंडिंग में, like your friends, your family, your relatives, or everybody coming. And again, because of all those things, our mothers also had that thing that नहीं करना है, नहीं करना है. That they were both of our mothers were like, no, sorry, you can't do this, and ठीक है. So we had to convince them, and our fathers were very supportive. I think my uncle, my dad also were part to convince them that, you know, if these two girls want to start something, let them do it. Let them just learn. कुछ नहीं तो सीखेंगे, फेल होंगे, पर सीखेंगे तो सही कुछ. They will learn something. But overall, the I think the problem was only the segment, the category we were getting in was the problem people had, that कुछ और कर लो,
and
कुछ और क्या.
and eventually,
एग्जैक्टली पीपल वर लाइक कुछ और सोच लो, कुछ कितने सारे और बिजनेसेस है, दैट यू नो दे हैड दैट थिंग कि हमको सिर्फ बिजनेस करना है. उनको वही था कि वी जस्ट वांट टू डू अ बिजनेस, तो बिजनेस तो कुछ भी हो सकता है. बट हम लोगों का ओवरऑल स्टार्ट कर ये ब्रांड स्टार्ट करने का ही पर्पस कुछ डिफरेंट था, बिकॉज वी सॉ अ प्रॉब्लम, बिकॉज वी सॉ अ मार्केट गैप, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी वांटेड टू स्टार्ट समथिंग. सो
I think you were asked to move to a different category,
हाँ एग्जैक्टली मैं वही
but
या
but you
या
eventually happened to define the category and become the category leader. That's like kudos on
हाँ
that.
exactly. So now it's different. Now the same people are coming and appreciating us. Same people called us and said, "Wow, you know, you have done a great job." Like हम लोगों का जब एपिसोड देखा, प्राउड फीलिंग आ गई अचानक से. और उसके पहले यही लोग हम लोगों को दूसरा बिजनेस करने के लिए कन्विंस कर रहे थे कि बिजनेस ही करना है ना, कुछ और आइडिया सोच लो, कुछ भी कर लो, मतलब देयर आर सो मेनी अदर बिजनेस यू कैन डू. बट I think why tha that we don't want to do anything else. We want to start a brand for this only.
I think that you have had a crazy story. I can clearly tell. But I want to come back to, let's say, for our listeners, I want to come back to one last piece, which is, let's just, for our listeners, someone who's trying to get started into DTC today, and someone who's trying to get started in a very unconventional category like you. And what would be, say, some of the quick tips on getting started in D2C, or say when they're selling on say platforms like Myntra,
For
Flipkart,
this,
Amazon?
Ananya and I
Oh,
both will have their own parts, because we
yeah.
have our own learnings and own experiences. So I'll just start, and then Ananya can take over. So somebody who wants to start D2C brand, or they want to start off their own startup, first of all I think आइडिया, एक आप क्या प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व करने का ट्राई कर रहे हो, दैट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. एंड मार्केट गैप, लाइक एक्चुअली आप जो मार्केट गैप को स्टडी कर रहे हो, एंड यू हैव टू फिट इन राइटली देयर, दैट यू नो ऑफ कोर्स यू नीड टू मेक स्पेस ऑल्सो. अगर वो सेगमेंट में ऑलरेडी लोग हैं, इट्स नॉट दैट यू कैन नॉट स्टार्ट अ कॉस्मेटिक ब्रांड. ऑफ कोर्स यू कैन स्टार्ट, बट यू नीड टू मेक योर ओन स्पेस. यू हैव टू बी हाउ डिफरेंट you are from others. So some uniqueness, something different. And I think startup में basic founder का यही है that you have to do everything. ये नहीं है that I started, I hired people, I am the boss, I'll just sit, I'll just take the update, I'll just take uh, whatever is happening. You have to work at zero level also, and at the top level also. That you know, at times I, Ananya, have to sit with the staff actually, like उनके जो cubicles है या वहाँ पे, we have to sit, we have to get the accounting clear, or maybe the customer issue, or maybe what is going in the packaging, कैसे जा रहा है. So you, we have to be right there to see also, because ultimately you are the, अभी के लिए Ananya and I are the brand faces. So ultimately, what is like people are looking, they are looking that two girls have been doing this. Ananya and Anushree are doing this. Ananya and Anushree are doing this. And we, I think हम लोग, we do the packaging also at times. It's not that we don't do. We do. So that is what I'm saying. The founder has to do everything, has to have update of all the departments, whatever is happening. ये नहीं है that okay, you can take a very brief update, and right team, right. It is very important to have the right team, because आपकी absence में they are gonna work. ultimately they are the one who are actually interacting with the customers. आप तो थोड़ा बाद में ही आते हो, because when the issue is little you know uh, थोड़ा अगर complicated हो जाए, that's the time you are into the picture. But ultimately they are the ones who are dealing with all the vendors, all the suppliers. They are the ones who are dealing with customers directly. They are the ones who are actually dealing with the delivery person, or uh, communicating with them that, did they receive the parcel, or whatever the issue is uh, with the order, or whatever it is. So I think right team is very important, and you have to do things at zero level. Start from zero level, and then only you can sit that okay, I'm the boss now. I think I'm the boss वाला attitude ही गलत है startup में. That एक वो business बन
Yes,
जाएगा,
yes.
then it's fine. But when you are actually doing a startup, वो you cannot have this thing. You have to do everything, everything.
Yep. And then, what would you like to add to it?
Basis your question of starting in an uncharted segment, there's a lot of uh, naysaying that happens. You should be very clear that this is something that you want to do. There'll be a lot of naysayers. For us, luckily, I had a partner. Not a lot of people have partners when they're starting something of their own. Uh, a is to choose the right kind of, if you want to go with a partner, to have the right kind of synergies to see where this company should be going ahead. Because like for Anushree and I, this was a segment that was very new, especially two women coming and talking about it was something that was really difficult. But irrespective of the number of no's that we heard, it was a yes that we internally had, that yes, we want to really start a company like this, is why we started the company. So it's important that you internally should have the patience and the rigor to take it ahead, irrespective of the number of no's people say. Because if you think that it is something that you want to take ahead, then take it ahead. Correct. So it's your internal faith into what the company stands for and where you want to take it. For anybody else who's starting something in a very uncharted territory, or something that is not expected, as a segment, or something that's very taboo, maybe, it's important that you know how to put the messaging out right for your products. That's really important. At the end of the day, it's the product that's going to shine. Maybe Anushree and I, as faces of the products, the idea of it might run low, but it's the products that will shine. So have make the best kind of product that there is, and work around the best kind of communication that you can put out there. For us, intertwining it with humor was something that truly helped us. If you're going into something that's really taboo, you should understand on how you want to approach a communication for the product, in accordance to what it is. If it demands a lot of sensitivity, choose the right kind of team to take it ahead sensitively, and have the right kind of conscience in terms of, maybe it might be okay for you, it might not be okay for a lot of people, because Anushri and I come from a very privileged set of background where we've had parents who've supported our dreams in a certain manner. I'm not talking monetarily, but in terms of how we have been raised as two women in a Marwadi household. It's important that you also realize what are things that work for you. आपके लिए अगर, sitting in a tier 1, if those are things that seem easy, it might not seem easy for people in tier 3. So it's important that you work at ground level and understand what the reality is, and then work around communication for that. What might be what might be okay for you might be insensitive for other people. It's important to understand the tonality of what your product is also using. So yeah, I think these are my 2 cents on what is important. Yeah, I think what
I
Anushri
think
said is important as well. Yeah.
I think the last bit that I wanted to understand is key. If you're starting a DTC today, how do you get your first 100 sales?
How do you get your
Not just,
first 100 sales?
yeah. How do you get your first 100 sales across platforms? I don't know,
It's
even
the
if
most
it's personal.
difficult thing. It's the most difficult thing to pitch your product right to the to people whom you don't know. See, I would credit our first 100 sales only to Amazon, because that's a place that we didn't push uh, the known card. Like आप अनुश्री और अनन्या को जानते हो तो आपने खरीद लिया, which was happening on the website. What was happening on Amazon or Flipkart was something that I consider was something that was happening organically for us, where people didn't know who were the people running behind the company, who was it being driven by. So It's the most difficult thing to make your first sell to somebody whom you don't know. It's all in communicating, all in the idea of how you put it out there. Communication is the key. You can have the best, it might look the best packaging wise, but if you're not communicating it right, if you're not hitting your target audience right, then you've lost it over there. So the idea is you need to have your communication so good that it has to be like you can sell ice to an Eskimo. They don't need it, but you're making them think that they need it, right? Build the need. So that's the most difficult part, and I think that's something that we worked on. We leveraged the idea of them needing the product rather than us telling them that you need a product like this. So that's what Amazon did for us. We didn't रन ऑन द आइडिया कि नट जॉब सर्च करोगे तो आपको प्रोडक्ट मिलेगा. वी वर्क ऑन द आइडिया कि आपको प्रॉब्लम जो है उस पे आपको प्रोडक्ट सजेस्ट होएगा. So they needed it for a problem
So,
that they were having
so
rather than
how do
us.
you feature, how do you feature
Keywords. You
on
work
the?
on keywords on Amazon. You work on the right kind of keywords for marketplaces, and you work on the right keywords on your SEO tool. So if they're searching for itchy balls, make sure that you're coming up first in that segment, be it on Google, be it on Amazon, be it on Flipkart. Your keywords
Okay.
have to be super good. You need to be there when people search. Like if I'm looking for a red top, make sure that you've attributed the right kind of keywords for you to come first or at least second, third in the keyword thing. Put it on Pinterest, put it on wherever that you want, wherever you think that the discoverability is going to be high. Work around your friends pinning that product. So, algorithm wise, it is something that will come up for people. Make your way through it through the right kind of keywords and the right kind of wordings that you're using in putting the product out there.
I think Ananya Anushree, that's a crazy lot of discussion around the crazy good company that you're building. I think that your company stands a lot against the patronizing, mansplaining behavior of the society, and also about around the unconventional stuff that women of India today are building. Thanks a lot for coming on the show. Happy to have you, and I believe this is going to be an eye opener for not just not. This was an eye opener for me, and I believe this will be an eye opener for the society as well.
Thank you so much for having us
Thank you,
over.
Pritesh. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
If you enjoyed this, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribe and share your thoughts, reviews, and the guests you want. And आपको हमारे community के लिए links मिल जाएंगे notes में. Should join for brilliant networking and participate in the upcoming events and for connecting with the podcast guests. दोबारा मिलते हैं next discussion में.